I hope you've had a great week. I hope you found your way around, and I hope you're settling a little bit more into the academy life. Especially year sevens, welcome. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope every other year group has made you feel welcome when they've passed you, or we're not allowed to pass each other on the corridor anymore, but you know what I mean. Thank you so much for filling in the mental strength survey. There's over 700 responses to that, and the answers were really deep and meaningful, so thank you very much. It was really interesting to see who strongly agreed and who strongly disagreed with some of those statements. We looked last week about loving the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, your mind, and then loving your neighbour as yourself. And we looked at the 4 areas, heart, soul, mind and strength, that we can build mental strength in. And today I just want to look in a little bit more detail about the heart. Now you might have thought the heart was just an organ in your body that pumps blood around it, but when we're talking about the heart, we're talking about your passions, your enthusiasm, your desires. We're thinking about how much you love yourself and how much you love others and how that love can be shown. We're looking about where you put your trust as well. So let's have a look what the Bible has to say first of all. In Psalm 37 verse 4, King David comes out with this gem of a quote. He says, "Delight yourself in the Lord." That means delight, make yourself happy in God. Find your happiness in God. Find your joy in Him. And if you do that, and He will give you the desires of your heart. So there's a link there between delighting in God and having your heart's desires met. Challenge for you today is to ask you, where are you on the God journey? Do you have a faith? Have you thought about it? Have you talked to anyone who's got a faith? And if so, do you see that in them? How important do you think it is to look after your heart? Well, there's lots of people on medication for the heart. They call it statins to keep the heart rate at a correct rhythm. And there's a verse in Proverbs 4:23 that talks about the state of our heart and how important it is to watch it and maintain it. It says this, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." Not some things, not most things, but everything you do flows from your heart. So that's why this week it's so important for us to unpack a little bit about what do we mean by the heart, and more importantly, how can we guard it and how can we get it fixed on the right things. What's the condition of your heart? If you think about the word joy, J-O-Y, there's a nice little way of remembering how to get things in the right order. Love God, Jesus, love others, O, and then love yourself. So there's an important element there. Love God, love others, and love yourself. How good are you at doing that? That's what we're going to be looking at during the worship material today, in terms of thinking, how do you exhibit, how do you show love towards God, towards others, and towards yourself? In John 14 we read about Jesus talking to his disciples, and the disciples had come to him and they were confused, they were worried, they were troubled. And I don't know if you've heard this phrase, but my heart was troubled. Jesus says to them, don't let your heart be troubled. Don't be weighed down and worried and bothered about things that you don't need to be. He says, trust in God, trust also in me. So Jesus says that the antidote to worrying or being troubled is this: trust. Trust in God. Trust that God created everything and God made everything for a purpose, and God has a purpose for you in your life. Trust in God. Trust that the things He said were good and true and right for you to follow. Trust breaks that worry, that troubled nature. It can give us a peace and a joy no matter what situation we're facing. Where's your trust at the moment? Where are you putting your trust? We're facing a lot of situations where we can't trust our health. Our health is being under attack. We can't trust our finances because the money systems seem to be crumbling. Where is your trust? In John 14:1 it says this: trust in God and trust also in me. That is Jesus. It's so easy to put our trust in things because they're tangible. We can feel them and touch them, and we know. And when we're not feeling secure, we can surround ourselves with what we've got. But in Matthew 6:19-21, Jesus is talking to his disciples and anyone that was listening on the Sermon on the Mount, and he said this: do not store up for yourself treasures on earth where moth and vermin destroy and where thieves can break in and steal. So don't store up treasure. Don't put your heart in what you have, in your things. Jesus says this, but store up for yourself treasure in heaven, where moth and vermin do not destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Jesus gives us a way of measuring where our heart is. Asking yourself, what do you think about? What are you trusting? What are you treasuring? What are you storing? If all your thoughts are about you and what you've got and have you got enough, then I would ask you to consider the state of your heart. This week we're thinking about how we can build strength in our heart so that can add to our mental strength. And one of the ways we can do that is this: storing up treasure in heaven. How do we do that? Well, we delight in God. We say to God, God, you are my heart's desire. And my heart's desire is to have more of you and to serve you. How do we serve God? Well, Jesus says, doesn't he? If you serve the least of these, if you serve your brothers and sisters, if you serve those around you, those who are in need, then it's as if you're doing it to God. I'm going to let into a secret about how you can measure the condition of your heart. In Luke 6:45, Jesus says this: a good person brings good things out of the good stored in their heart, and an evil person brings evil things out of the evil stored in their heart. For it says, the mouth speaks that the heart is full of. For the mouth speaks what the heart is full of. If you want to know what's inside your heart, the condition of your heart, the strength of your heart, then Jesus says, watch what you say. Do you speak positively? Do you speak full of hope and faith about how things are and how things are going to be? Do you have a positive language that you use about things? If so, then that's an indication that there is positivity, that there is hope, that there is faith inside of you. Or if you're sometimes negative and you look at things in a negative way, thinking things are bad and things are terrible and things are getting worse, then that might indicate that there are some conditions in your heart that you might like to look at over the next week or two, or for the rest of your life. The condition of our heart can be measured easily by looking at where our treasure is. Our condition of our heart can be measured by the words that come out of our mouth. My challenge for myself and for all of us this week is guard your heart, because everything flows from it. Store up for yourself treasures in heaven and speak words that are good, because as good comes out of your mouth, that indicates good that's stored inside your heart. So your activity today, what you're going to be doing is going a little bit deeper into thinking about your heart condition. These are the questions that related to the heart on the survey you did last week. The first one: my life is full of lots of things that I love to do. Do you have passions? Are you enthusiastic? Do you have energy to do things? Or do you get out of bed wishing that you could go back to bed straight away? Next one: when someone is unkind to me, I can forgive them quickly and easily. How good are you at forgiving others, especially when they've done something wrong to you? I'd like to suggest that Jesus forgave us, so our response to others is, even if we don't want to, even if we find it difficult, is to offer forgiveness. Next one: if I see someone who needs help, I do whatever I can with my time and resources to help them. Do you have a heart for others? Are your treasures and your stores for you, or are they for you and for you to help other people? And another question was this: I'm good at learning from failure because I know it can make me better next time. Do we read, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and love your neighbour as yourself? Do you love yourself enough to forgive yourself when you do something wrong, when you make a mistake? Do you give yourself a chance to learn from those mistakes so you can improve in the future? Or are you negative about yourself, thinking that you'll never be able to do it? So consider this week, how can you build strength in your heart? Maybe it's something you need to find a passion and enthusiasm for something. Maybe it's you need to forgive some people. Maybe it's you need to think about the stores of treasure that you have and how you can use them to bless others. Whatever it is for you, I pray you have a great week, and I pray you'll be really blessed with this material. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember to learn the memory verses, and I'll see you again next week.